Waitress fed a stray cat, then her boss fired her. But later, something unbelievable happened. In the bustling city of Toronto, Canada, life had been anything but easy for Rachel Adams. Just a few years ago, she had a life many would consider perfect. A loving husband, a cozy home, and a bright-eyed 7-year-old daughter named Lily. But everything changed on a fateful winter evening when a car accident claimed her husband's life, leaving Rachel a widow and single mother overnight. Grief-stricken but determined to provide for Lily, Rachel took on several odd jobs to make ends meet. She worked tirelessly, cleaning houses during the day, taking evening shifts as a cashier, and even babysitting on weekends. Each job was a stepping stone to survival, but none offered stability or hope for a better future. Finally, after months of relentless effort, Rachel landed a job as a waitress at a well-known restaurant in downtown Toronto. The establishment was owned by a wealthy businessman, Mr. Collins, and his wife, Vivian. The restaurant's reputation for fine dining and exceptional service made it a popular spot for the city's elite. Though demanding, the position gave Rachel a steady income, a sense of purpose, and a chance to create a better life for Lily. Little did she know, her decision to work at this restaurant would set off a chain of events that would change her life in the most unexpected ways. Mrs. Collins was known for her love of luxury, and nothing symbolized her indulgent lifestyle more than her cherished Persian cat, Bella. The pampered feline had a life most people could only dream of, with gourmet meals, plush bedding, and endless toys. However, Bella had a peculiar habit of sneaking out to nap on the mansion's waste drum, oblivious to her pristine surroundings. One unfortunate morning, as the Collins family's garbage was hauled away by a disposal truck, Bella was still curled up on the drum. Startled and confused, the cat found herself in unfamiliar surroundings, her luxurious life suddenly reduced to wandering the streets. Days passed, and Bella roamed the streets of Toronto, hungry and disoriented. She eventually made her way to the back alley of the restaurant, where the tantalizing aroma of food drew her in. Sitting under a dumpster, she watched as waitstaff bustled about inside the kitchen. It was during her lunch shift that Rachel first noticed the thin, bedraggled cat. At first, she thought Bella was just another stray among the many animals that roamed the city streets. But something about the cat's expressive blue eyes tugged at her heart. Rachel quietly gathered some leftovers from a customer's plate and slipped outside during a brief lull in her shift. She knelt near the dumpster, gently placing the food in front of the cat. "Here you go, sweetheart," Rachel whispered. "You must be starving." Bella hesitated for a moment, then approached the food cautiously. As the cat ate, Rachel stroked her fur, noting how soft it was despite her rough appearance. Unbeknownst to Rachel, her manager, Mr. Andrews, was watching from the kitchen window. He stormed outside, his face red with anger. "What are you doing, Rachel?" he snapped. "We have paying customers inside, and you're out here playing with a stray cat?" Rachel stood up, startled. "I'm sorry, sir." She looked so hungry. "I couldn't just—" "I don't pay you to feed strays," he interrupted. "This isn't an animal shelter. If you can't focus on your job, you're done here." Embarrassed, Rachel returned to her shift, but the damage had been done. The following day, Andrews called her into his office. "I'm sorry, Rachel," he said coldly. "We decided to let you go. We don't tolerate distractions, and you've proven to be unreliable." Tears welled in Rachel's eyes, but she didn't argue. She gathered her belongings, her heart heavy, and left the restaurant. Outside, the stray cat sat waiting, as if sensing her distress. Without hesitation, Rachel scooped up the cat and made her way to Lily's school to pick her up. Rachel walked into her daughter Lily's school with the stray cat nestled in her arms. Her mind was a whirlwind of emotions: frustration, sadness, and uncertainty. Lily, a bright and cheerful 7-year-old, ran out of the school gate, her face lighting up as she saw her mother. But the moment she noticed Rachel's somber expression, her excitement dimmed. "What's wrong, Mommy?" Lily asked, her small hand brushing against Rachel's arm. Rachel forced a smile. "Nothing we can't handle, sweetheart." Lily's eyes widened as she noticed the cat. "Is that our cat now?" she asked, her voice filled with excitement. Rachel hesitated. Let's call her a guest for now. We need to get her cleaned up and fed. The cat meowed softly as if it understood. Lily's face lit up with joy, and for a moment, Rachel felt a sliver of happiness. They walked home together, the little cat following closely behind as though it already felt like part of the family. Their small apartment was modest but cozy. Rachel set down a bowl of warm milk and some scraps of leftover chicken for the cat. It ate ravenously, confirming Rachel's suspicion that it had been starving. Lily knelt beside it, stroking its matted fur. "What's her name, Mommy?" Lily asked. Rachel thought for a moment. "How about Lucky? She's lucky to have found us." "Lucky," Lily repeated with a giggle. "I like it." Over the next few days, Lucky became a part of their routine. Rachel brushed its fur, and Lily played with it whenever she could. Despite their growing bond, Rachel couldn't shake the worry about her job. The dismissal from the restaurant had been sudden and harsh, and now she was left scrambling to find another way to provide for her daughter. Meanwhile, Mrs. Collins was growing increasingly distraught over the disappearance of her beloved cat, Bella. She had posted flyers all over the neighborhood and even offered a substantial reward for Bella's return. Mr. Collins, though busy with his business, tried to console her, but nothing seemed to lift her spirits. Bella wasn't just a pet. She was like family. Rachel, of course, had no idea that Lucky was Bella. The once pristine Persian cat now looked like an ordinary stray after its days of wandering the streets. But slowly, Rachel began to notice certain peculiarities. Lucky was unusually well-behaved and had an air of elegance that didn't fit the image of a stray. One evening, as Rachel brushed Lucky's fur, she noticed a faint imprint on the collar the cat had been wearing. Though the collar was dirty and torn, the words, Bella, and a phone number were just visible. Rachel's heart skipped a beat. Could this be someone's lost pet? Rachel wrestled with her conscience. On the one hand, Bella clearly belonged to someone who cared for her deeply. On the other, returning the cat could mean losing the small bit of joy and comfort Lily had found. They had already lost so much, her husband, financial stability, and now her job. Could they bear to lose Lucky too? That night, Rachel lay awake, staring at the ceiling. Lucky was curled up beside her, purring softly. As much as she wanted to keep the cat, she knew what she had to do. The next morning, Rachel dialed the number on Bella's collar. A woman answered, her voice tinged with desperation. "Hello." "Hi," Rachel said hesitantly. "I think I might have found your cat." There was a moment of silence, followed by an emotional outburst. "Bella? You found Bella?" "Yes," Rachel confirmed. "She's safe. You can come and see her." Within an hour, a sleek black car pulled up in front of Rachel's apartment. Mrs. Collins stepped out, her face pale but hopeful. When Rachel opened the door, Bella immediately ran to her, meowing loudly. Tears streamed down Mrs. Collins's face as she scooped the cat into her arms. "I can't thank you enough," Mrs. Collins said, her voice trembling. "Bella means the world to me." Rachel smiled faintly. "She's been a good companion these past few days." Mrs. Collins paused, her gaze shifting to the small apartment and then to Lily, who was peeking out from behind Rachel. "You've taken good care of her," she said softly. "Are you the one who found her?" "Yes," Rachel admitted. "But it's a bit of a long story." Rachel recounted the events that had led to her finding Bella, including her dismissal from the restaurant. Mrs. Collins listened intently, as she discovered it was their restaurant, her expression shifting from gratitude to outrage. "You were fired for feeding my Bella?" she asked, her tone incredulous. Rachel nodded. "The manager thought I was neglecting my duties." Mrs. Collins turned to Mr. Collins, who had just joined her at the door. "This is unacceptable. We trusted that manager to run the restaurant fairly." Mr. Collins frowned. "We'll handle this. And as for you, Rachel," he hesitated. "Would you be interested in a different opportunity?" Mr. Collins explained that they were in need of a housekeeper for their home, someone trustworthy and compassionate, who could help maintain their household and also look after Bella when needed. The job came with a generous salary and accommodations. Rachel was stunned. I don't know what to say." "Say yes," Mrs. Collins urged with a smile. "You saved Bella and showed more kindness than most people would." After a brief pause, Rachel accepted. Tears filled her eyes as she realized this opportunity could change her and Lily's lives forever. Over the next few weeks, Rachel and Lily moved into the Collins guest house, and Rachel began her new job. Lily quickly grew fond of the luxurious estate, and Bella, now lucky to them, seemed equally happy to have both her old family and her new one. Rachel's kindness had not only saved a beloved pet, but had also brought hope and stability back into her life. Sometimes, the smallest acts of compassion can lead to the most extraordinary outcomes. This new chapter was not just about survival, but about thriving, surrounded by gratitude, love, and the magic of second chances.